you know the word. You know it perfect.
But by the time you translate it in your head, the conversation's already moved on. And you're standing there, silent.
That's not a vocabulary problem.
That's translation. And most people try to fix it by learning more words. Doesn't work. More words just means more to translate.
So what's actually happening?
Translation isn't a personal flaw. It's a trained habit built over years of classroom learning. And under pressure, it gets worse, not better.
So we're not going to tell you to just think in English.
We're going to show you how to interrupt the habit. By the end, you'll see you're not behind. You just learned it the wrong way.
Let's start here, because this changes how you think about the whole problem.
If you learned English mostly in a classroom, here's roughly what happened. Someone taught you a word, then immediately gave you the meaning in your own language.
English word, native word, meaning over and over for years.
That loop got practiced so many times, it became automatic. Your brain didn't choose to translate. It built a pathway, and that pathway became the fastest route available.
So now, when someone asks you a question in English,
your brain runs down that same road without asking permission.
So the problem was never that you don't know enough English.
Exactly. Plenty of people who translate in their head have solid vocabulary and decent grammar. The issue is which pathway gets used first when you need to respond.
Okay, but here's the part that trips people up.
You can't just decide to stop telling yourself, think in English, while the old pathway is still the strongest one available. Is like telling yourself to stop taking the highway when it's the only road you've ever driven.
The road still exists.
You'll end up on it anyway, especially when you're not paying close attention.
So if someone's tried to force themselves to think in English and it hasn't worked,
that's not because they lack discipline. It's because willpower doesn't rebuild a pathway. Repetition does.
That's actually good news if you think about it.
It means this isn't about being smarter or trying harder. It's about training a different, more direct route. One that goes straight from the situation in front of you to English, without stopping at your native language first.
What about people who just think in English without ever noticing they're doing it?
They usually didn't learn through heavy translation in the first place. They built the direct pathway early, often through exposure, not classroom drilling.
So if you learn differently, you're not behind them.
You're solving a different problem than they ever had to solve.
Once you see it this way, the goal gets a lot more specific.
You're not trying to get better at English in some vague sense. You're trying to build a new pathway strong enough that it becomes automatic instead of the translation route you've used for years.
And that's what the rest of this is about. Here's something that confuses a lot of learners. You can practice speaking for weeks, feel like you're improving, then completely fall apart the moment a real conversation actually matters.
Job interview, phone call, meeting someone new.
Why does that happen?
Under pressure, your brain doesn't reach for your newest, most improved skill. It reaches for whatever pathway is most automatic, because automatic means fast, and under stress, fast feels safe.
So jumping straight into high-stakes conversations before you've built a new habit
can actually backfire. Every time you're forced to translate under pressure, you're reinforcing the exact pathway you're trying to move away from.
Stress doesn't create new habits.
It reveals which one is still strongest.
So the practical takeaway:
don't save your English practice for the moments that matter most. Build the habit somewhere low stakes first. Somewhere a mistake costs you nothing. So the pathway is already strong before you need it under pressure.
Spend time in situations with no penalty for getting it wrong.
That's where the real rewiring happens. The high-pressure moments come later, once there's a pathway strong enough to survive them.
Okay, so if low-stakes reps are what actually build this,
there's one exercise that does this faster than almost anything else, and it takes 5 minutes a day.
So how do you actually build that new pathway?
Not with more vocabulary lists, with something much simpler. Describe what's directly in front of you out loud. In English,
that's it?
That's it. Look around the room right now and describe it. There's a cup on the table. The light is on. My phone is next to me. Nothing complicated. Nothing you'd need to look up.
Why does this work better than vocabulary drills?
When you're translating a sentence from your native language, there's a step in between the object, then the native word, then the English word. But when you describe something directly, there's no native language sentence to translate in the first place. You go straight from the object to English. No detour.
So do this with real objects, real moments in your day.
And you're not memorizing vocabulary anymore. You're practicing the actual pathway you want to strengthen. Object straight to English. Nothing in between.
What about watching shows with subtitles? Reading articles?
Those don't fix this specific problem on their own. They build your vocabulary and your ear, but they don't force you to produce anything. And the translation habit lives in production. The moment you have to generate a sentence, not understand one someone else made.
So you need output.
Forced, immediate low-pressure output. 5 minutes a day. Walk through your house, your commute, your kitchen. Describe what you see and what you're doing in English out loud.
Keep it simple.
You don't need complex sentences. You need repetition of the direct pathway.
What if you can't think of a word?
Don't stop to translate it. Describe around it. Don't know the word for cutting board. Say the thing I put vegetables on before I cut them.
That's not cheating.
That's the skill. Producing English directly without pausing to translate, even when it's clumsy.
And over time,
This narrows the gap between seeing something and saying something in English. And that gap is exactly what you're trying to close.
think in English. You've heard that 100 times.
And it's not wrong, but it's too vague to actually use. You can't train a skill. You can't identify happening in real time.
So give us a more specific version.
Catch yourself mid-translation and interrupt it.
That sounds small.
It's actually the entire skill. You don't need to eliminate translation completely, especially not right away. You need to notice the exact moment it starts, and instead of finishing the correct sentence, jump in with a simpler English phrase. Even if it's not perfect,
What does that look like in practice?
Omion asks you a question. You feel yourself start reaching for the native language sentence in your head. Instead of finishing that thought and translating it,
Top halfway.
say the simplest possible English version of what you're thinking, even if it's not the sentence you originally planned.
Why does this matter so much?
Most learners wait for the fully translated sentence before they speak. That wait is where the silence happens. The one that makes you sound hesitant, even when you actually know the language,
So interrupting yourself earlier.
trains you to prioritize speed over precision. And speed is what actually builds fluency. Precision comes later, on its own, once the pathway is strong.
This takes practice to even notice, right?
Right now, the translation might be happening, so automatically, you don't catch it until it's already finished. Start by simply noticing it after the fact. I just translated that sentence in my head before I said it. Don't judge it. Just notice it. Awareness comes first. Interruption comes second.
And once you can reliably notice it,
Start interrupting early. Give yourself permission to say a clumsy, grammatically imperfect sentence instead of waiting for the perfect translated one.
wrong but immediate.
Trains the direct pathway. A correct but delayed sentence trains the translation pathway, even if it sounds better in the moment,
This is uncomfortable at first.
because it means sounding less polished on purpose. But that discomfort is temporary. You're not lowering your standards. You're changing which skill you're training.
Let's end with the thing that actually keeps people stuck. Longer than the translation habit itself.
Comparing yourself to people who never had this problem.
You've seen someone speak English effortlessly, no visible pause, and thought, why can't I do that?
Easy to assume they're just more talented, more disciplined. But most people who speak that way didn't learn through heavy classroom translation in the first place. They picked up English through exposure, immersion, environments where they had to produce it directly from the start,
Air direct pathway was built early.
often without them even realizing it was happening.
So if you learn differently, vocabulary lists, grammar rules, constant translation,
You're not behind them. You're solving a completely different problem than they ever had to solve. Because your brain built a different starting pathway than theirs did.
why does this distinction matter so much?
If you think you're simply behind, the plan becomes work harder, faster, more. But if you understand you're rebuilding a pathway rather than catching up, on missing knowledge, the plan changes. It becomes specific.
And progress here doesn't look like a straight line.
Some days the direct pathway kicks in easily. Some days the direct pathway kicks in easily. You fall right back into translating. That's not failure. That's just which pathway happened to be stronger in that moment. It doesn't erase the progress you've already made.
So what do we actually do with this, starting today?
Pick one 5-minute window today. Our commute, making coffee, walking through your house. Describe what's around you out loud in English. No translating first. That's the one action that rebuilds the pathway faster than anything else in this video.
So that's it. One small habit, 5 minutes every day.
And when you catch yourself mid-translation in a real conversation, interrupt it. Say the clumsy version. Don't wait for the perfect one.
This isn't about knowing more English.
It's about which pathway your brain reaches for first, and that's something you can actually train.
If this helped, you know what to do.
See you in the next one.